And funny enough, this is take two because we had some technical difficulties. Let's get this closet open, ladies and germs. We got Glitter Bombing, one and done Parisi with us as a special guest,
Hello, hello.
resident photographer of GamingAge.com, and of
Yes,
course
sir.
my mastermind's partner in crime, Legend Pop. Welcome.
Hello, hello.
We got double closets all the way across the sky, and we're talking about the toy fair today. So we're gonna recap. We're gonna keep it real casual, but what we'll do is, as we're talking about it, we'll show some photos that Parisi took, which were awesome. Saw a lot of cool stuff. Got a lot of feelings about the show. Apparently, I'm responsible for the show being canceled now or being moved out of New York. So we'll discuss that too.
118 years in New York, Benny, and now moving somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it
don't know.
happens.
I don't know.
I mean, I
I
don't know
mean,
either. The reason that I understood from me canceling E3 was because it was my first time, and all of a sudden I showed up and it was ending. But last time I checked, this is not my first rodeo
No,
at the
I
Toy
know.
Fair.
mm,
But there was somebody on
mm,
the show that it was their
mm,
first rodeo, I think.
Oh,
mm.
Mm.
damn you, Paul. I'm not going to New Orleans.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, look at the positives of this. In 2026, we could just all go to New Orleans, and we have an excuse to go to New Orleans.
Mm,
We get to go visit Press for Time's own Tyler. Tyler's in Louisiana, so there
Well,
we
he'd
go.
have to meet us in New Orleans. We're not going out
get
there.
some
That's
beignets.
I'm also not going out there if it's bug ridden because he's got like the crazy bug seasons, and I am not for it. So that's a problem in itself. There was a show that we
there's a lot
recorded, and he had termites everywhere, and I would have.
termites.
Yep, they have like a termite season, and I would have burned the house down. I would have went to jail for arson. But anyway, so let's talk about the New York Toy Fair. Obviously, the big thing here that I like to discuss is that this was Paul's first show, which is a really
Well,
cool opportunity.
why,
So,
why you got to throw that in there again? I mean,
well,
after you say the show's canceled, I mean,
well, because I segue it and try
it's
to
not
make it
canceled either way.
positive.
It's moving. It's relocating. It's a little different than E3 is being like completely dead now. It's like a dead brand.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
and,
and
I,
I,
and
I
I- I'm
mean,
sorry. I'm sorry for that, ladies and gentlemen. My
Toy
apologies.
Fair is not far behind. I'll put that out there
Well,
now.
we
Talk about
and
it
we
later.
still have one. We still have one more show, right? We have March of 2025 in New York, still in
Yeah.
the Javits Center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, so we'll see how that one goes. It'll be even tinier. There'll be even less stuff because everybody's doing their own stuff, you know.
Yep.
But we'll discuss that. But before we do that, I mean, I'm so used to the intros being at the beginning, but I like throwing them in the middle. It kind of works.
It's like you're doing a cold open for a sitcom, and except the cold open wasn't funny at all, and then we just went to the intro.
I mean, you got to see the last one, the fumble that we had. It was great. We started doing
If
Dragon
it's
Ball
recorded, you
Z.
just
Oh, it's recorded. It's in history.
it's all
It's not
there.
going away.
Oh,
It
good,
was a
good.
literal Dragon Ball Z fusion fumble. All right, we're like, just go to the intro. It was awesome. But anyway, so let's talk about what we experienced at the toy fair this year. The biggest thing
Toffee.
was the toffee. I have toffee on my brain after having my Indiana Jones coffee this morning. Forgive me. So, how did we start the show? We started off site, which is, I feel like, a tradition that Parisi and I kind of do year to year, which
Yep.
was to Hasbro. And what did we think of the Hasbro booth or the room,
Um,
if you will?
I'll jump in. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna throw this out there, but I thought it was lackluster.
Oh, that's fine.
But
That's what we're here for.
like you said, a lot of the companies are doing their own thing now. It's something that like the game industry's been doing for a while, where they'll put out their own state of play or direct or something where they could kind of control the narrative of what they want to show people. And so Hasbro kind of did the same thing this year. They had their Hasbro like PulseCon a little bit before Toy Fair, and they announced a bunch of stuff for Transformers and all their other product lines. And so when it came to doing a tour of their showroom at Toy Fair, everything seemed like it was very compact, very little on display. Transformers was just stuff we all kind of knew about. Nothing really in regards to the 40th anniversary. Like stuff they spoke about on the PulseCon. And then as we kind of moved through the showroom, I mean, it was some Star Wars stuff, which again we all knew about. And then we kind of got into some areas really not geared in our wheelhouse, like the relaunch of Furby, some Play-Doh stuff, things like that. So there wasn't really like a wow factor this year like I've seen in years past when Benny and I have gone. In years past, they used to do these crazy like diorama setups for Transformers where the Autobots are fighting the Decepticons and they make like dirt on the ground and hills and this year was just very kind of safe and it was kind of depressing being the first show back since COVID to see what they were offering for Transformers. So, and I'm mentioning that a lot because that's kind of like my thing, Transformers. So, but yeah, that's my take on it.
Okay. No, I think it makes a lot of sense. And realistically, I think there's two things that I see that caused kind of the results of what we saw, which was the date being changed. Obviously, for those who are not familiar, Toy Fair is usually done at the beginning of the year, usually around February. So it's like like for the business side, it's like right at the end of a fiscal year, start of a new fiscal year, where they start calculating stuff for the year. So to have stuff coming closer to the end, I guess the thought process was it's going to be like a holiday kind of focus. But at the same time, they had the show 2 weeks before New York Comic Con, which is coming this following week. So
Yeah.
again, putting your eggs in one basket, like where are you going to have your products be shown? Are you going to show the same thing at both? Where's the relevancy there? And obviously, the Toy Fair being closed to the public is more of a business venture for stores and places to purchase these orders and such. So I think Paul and I had briefly discussed, I think we all might have, about there's certain places we went to that were closed doors that we even didn't have access to, and then we learned that a lot of that had to do with the sales aspect. They're getting to see stuff that we're not, because they're making those purchases, and that leads me to think that a lot of that stuff may get announced at New York Comic Con or later. What do you
Yeah, I
think?
mean, Hasbro had that back room, which was only for wholesalers and buyers and stuff like that. So who knows what was back there? But yeah, like you said, Benny, a lot of the booths had stuff like that where even as media, it wasn't open to us. It was just for buyers. So, I mean, I guess it's like, I don't know if I'm sure they've been doing that for years, but it's the first time we've kind of encountered that.
Right. I think the one time we saw it, which was kind of like innocent, which is when we first discovered Arcade One Up like 5 years ago, and they had like the cloth over some of them. We were like, "That's definitely Mortal Kombat," or and
Yeah,
it was
you
like
can see
literally
the
first
graphic on
wave.
the side.
And they're like, "Oh well, we can't, that's for the salespeople." So it
Right.
makes sense. But I think there was I felt like there was a lot more hidden. And for me, I was disappointed for Paul's sake, because it's like a first time for him to experience it, and there was a lot of things that we're used to getting access to, and it just seemed very restrictive outside of even Hasbro.
Yeah.
But Paul, what did you get as far as the vibes with the Hasbro booth? Did you? I know you spent a little more time because you actually demoed like one of the games and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to make the best of the situation, right? Because the stuff they had on display wasn't doing anything for me. I thought the Optimus Primal that you showed briefly, the transforming one, that's pretty cool to see in motion. I'm sure I could have seen that somewhere else had I, but I never went down that rabbit hole with it. It wasn't something that really interested me, but it was cool to see in motion. Outside of that, I wasn't like they didn't show anything. I felt like just because I was gonna bring it up, but like I got these. These just came out, and none of them were on display, and they look really, really good. Like they look very accurate to the cartoon. I mean, the cartoon that's not out yet, but yeah.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
these weren't on display. It was cool that they had the Spider-Man, uh, the Andrew Garfield, and the well, I got Rogue here. I don't want to be the sexist, but they have the Andrew Garfield and the Tobey Maguire, from their respective movies. But they didn't have the Doc Ock. They had the Green Goblin, and like Anthony said, I'm disappointed with the Transformers. That was it was literally nothing. No legacy toys at all.
Yeah.
Especially after they announced some at PulseCon, which just didn't make sense to me. And why would you even have that in the back if they've been announced? But we don't know what they had back there, right? And then, like you guys have already said, it's just really hammering on. It felt like a lot of empty. Like the Furby table had like 2 Furbies on it, or the Nerf had like 2 guns. It's like it just seemed like a lot of wasted space. So I really took away that I got to play Twister Air, which is a game that you guys can actually put sensors on your wrists and then on your legs. It's actually just a box with the sensors, and then you download an iPad app, and the iPad is looking at you, and you can AirPlay it to the TV or hardwire the iPad or Android to the TV, and then you're moving along like Fruit Ninja or Beat Saber, as we discussed, with your hands and legs. And I actually thought it was really cool. It made me look to see for my nieces and nephews, for Christmas ideas, and it's only like between $15 and $20, and I had fun with it. I thought that was the best thing I thought I saw there, which is sad on one hand, I guess.
Especially because it's something that's out already, right? So it wasn't even like
Oh
they
yeah.
announced it.
Was there anything there besides the Marvel Legends Spider-Man that aren't out yet?
No, all those Transformers, I'm pretty sure, are out now.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
there
I
was
don't
no
know.
other
Yeah,
Marvel Legends.
Yeah, maybe some of the Star Wars stuff, possibly.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
again, that was
we don't follow it
lackluster also.
exactly. Okay, but on the plus side, you guys both being big Transformers fans, obviously, I like my Transformers as well. We ended up coming across a booth. Unfortunately, I don't recall the name of the product. You guys probably do, but
Yolo Park.
these were awesome. We can show them real quick. These are some great
Yeah,
designs.
this is
Yeah.
Yolo Park.
So that's like the plus side. It's like we have that expectation of Hasbro showing us stuff, but then upon walking the floor, casually, we were able to find these, and then there's the
Yeah.
smaller scale ones.
Yeah.
But you guys were familiar with this brand already, correct?
Yes.
Okay. No, that's really cool. So I mean,
Do you have the other one, the other ones after that, or no?
for the pictures that I have, that's the ones
That's it.
that I have
Okay.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, well, could they have a couple others that are only around like the $40 price range, and these are model kits that are like basically like starter model kits. So they're snapped together, they're already painted. You don't need to
Yeah,
worry
I
about
have
gluing
photos of those,
pieces.
Benny.
I guess maybe they're not in order if you took them at a later portion, because I know.
It's not a
Yeah,
big deal. They're pretty
Yeah.
cool for the scale. They obviously these don't transform for people that would be interested in them, but the level of detail for essentially a model kit, they're pretty good, and they are coming out with a Megatron that Anthony and I both checked out. It is a G1 version. It's the only outside of the smaller scale. It's the only ones that were like a G1 uh, full representation, and it had like a bunch of different pieces, it had accessories, which is odd for a model kit per se to come with.
Yeah.
But I thought the detail and the look of them looked great.
cool. Was there a particular booth that maybe we didn't have an appointment for, other than this one, that kind of caught your eye? That maybe you didn't know about something that grew your interest, either one of you guys, or for the most part, like we said, a lot of it was seen already. Not too many surprises. I know we had a couple of booths that we came across that we you know, didn't have the opportunity, like a certain Toddy Mac, getting turned away. That was
King Spawny.
that was
Mr.
The
Wallace.
Jelly Belly booth surprised me. I got some free Jelly Bellies,
You both did.
and yeah, well, I had to take it for Anthony. He didn't want to be shameful and go get the Jelly Bellies.
Because then they look at you, and if they see it says press, and they're gonna want to talk to you. I don't like to talk to people. I just want the
I don't
jelly
even
bellies.
yet. Just horse blinders. Don't make eye contact.
When I went back on Sunday, I walked around the show floor with my badge turned around, so nobody could see what I was.
Oh, you want to buy some stuff? You want to buy some Jelly Bellies?
Was there a booth that surprised me? I don't know, because every booth that I went to or visited while you might have been looking at something else was a booth I wanted to see. I think the one booth wasn't really a surprise, but I guess it was a surprise for what they had on display. And I don't remember the name of the company, but they had those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that were based off the IDW comics. And
Right,
then
the
that
loyal
really
subjects.
Loyal
nice,
subjects.
yeah, they had that really nice Shredder box art, like from the comic cover. And I think Paul and I were saying like there was another variant where it was blue and it looked like Strider.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like the deluxe one that more like from the comic. And then that's the one we thought looked like Strider if you replace the head. Same kind of colors.
Yeah,
they
I thought
have
these
some
were.
great figures.
I like these. I mean, I like the cartoon look more, but I think it's cool that they're doing this
Yeah,
stuff.
and I'm not really a comic book reader, so seeing these was completely new to me, these designs, and I just was taken aback by the level of detail on this box for Shredder and Hell. I just love the artwork on it, like so much so that I would probably buy the figure, just to have it.
Yeah.
Agreed. And Paul, I think you ended up, when you were looking at the booth as we were kind of making our way out, you ended up discussing with somebody at the booth that happened to be somebody involved with the actual figure.
Yeah,
Right?
I didn't. Unfortunately, I don't remember his name, but I believe he is part of the design team. And we were just talking like upcoming stuff. Nothing he could really confirm with me that wasn't present there, but they are pushing the IDW stuff. So you will see more of that. I, as a fan, asked about Beetlejuice because Loyal Subjects had already made a Beetlejuice figure. I believe it probably came out before COVID. And then what he told me was that like we're open to doing more, cartoons and more nostalgic stuff. And they even had, he didn't say it was off the record, so I'm dropping it. He said that they made a Lydia like prototype, but it just never ever ended up coming to fruition because by the time the toy came out and COVID hit, and I'm assuming if the Beetlejuice toy didn't sell like gangbusters, they kind of like, all right, well we can kind of hold off on this now, and the Ninja Turtle stuff was ramping up at that point.
Which is
But
going to
I'd like,
continue to grow. So
yeah, I mean, I'd like to see more of the Saturday morning stuff, but then again, it's the obscure stuff, and I don't know if there's a market for it. Like Eat the Cat or something like more obscure kind of.
Pirates of Dark Water.
No, we can skip
You
that.
see, you left the room for
Media
it.
Masterminds callback. That's a
Here we
Media
go.
Masterminds callback.
There it is. Or we can go Mask. Parisi knows all about Mask. But
That's
Hasbro
too
has,
expensive a
yeah.
license. It's
Well,
too
Hasbro
expensive a
has it,
license.
and
Yeah,
Hasbro
but I don't know
probably
why
cleaned
that's
up
such a dormant. Why that's such a dormant product line. I mean,
like Paul said, it's going to cost money to make that stuff, and they don't want to probably invest in that. Or
Until recently, we're gonna get harping on Hasbro, but until recently, they weren't even using the GI Joe line. Until Classified, they really weren't doing anything with it.
right, they kind of going all in now, but so is everybody else that has the license, like Super 7.
yeah, with that
Yes,
huge
Nice,
Cobra mothership.
mothership,
nice,
baby.
nice segue, mothership,
That's
baby.
a beautiful transition. We go right over to mothership, baby, the Cobra mothership
Look
station
at
now.
that! Oh my
Oh
goodness!
my goodness. Phil's got
Yeah,
a box of tissues out ready. He's looking at it.
I still don't even know what to put.
Oh, there he
Oh,
is.
whoa, whoa. We got Jigsaw in there.
He wants to play a
Nobody, still
game.
no price on this thing though, right? I mean, it's got to
No,
be
No
like,
price still.
I mean, it's got to be like $3.99, right?
it's gonna be $5.99, I think.
Yeah, because
I'm falling somewhere in the middle. I'm gonna do prices right. We're gonna say $4.99.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna go $1.
$1, and you're not gonna get it.
Yeah,
So
Benny,
another,
if you look in the videos of the Toy Fair gallery I gave you, if you scroll down towards the bottom, there's like a minute video for Super Sevens turtle van. Yeah, that one.
There we go.
So this is
No, that's why I'm
$450.
saying $600. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
this is big, but
$450. Now
it's not.
you get a lot of stuff with it, but I mean, it's just a plastic van. I mean, there's really nothing
Well, remember
special
another
about it.
thing that I don't know the price, but the other thing that they were doing, I believe, is Thundera Lair, I
Yeah,
believe.
they did the Thundercat
So
space.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know what that's costing. But again, they're going for these larger scales on purpose because they know that, not everybody's doing that. And
Right. But I mean, you could see that this thing like fits on the shelf in their case,
right.
and
And
like
it
I said, you
it
get a
fits
lot of
all four
cool
turtles and then some. So
you
it
get a
has
lot
the
of cool
scale.
stuff with it. You get like a keychain to put your keys on and bumper stickers and
Who
things like
wants
that.
that?
But like when you try to justify a $450 price tag and it's literally just a bunch of little tchotchkes and accessories, that you could probably throw in the back of that party van and never play with them again, and fit some turtles in there from Super 7. Like you're trying to, like, I would have loved to have asked somebody like, how did you come up with this price? Like what's the factors behind it? Like there's no metal on it. There's nothing die cast that I could tell. There's
I
See,
think it's really
Benny missed the opportunity to ask the question. That's now it's two questions that he missed the opportunity to ask.
here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
I mean maybe something lights up. I don't know, but
It doesn't look
when you
like it. I think they would
when
demo
you
it that way if it did.
when you compare it to that Cobra mothership, you're like, what's the
Yeah. No, I
what's the
I know
agree.
we're
ratio?
jumping
Like,
around, but isn't NECA making Turtle Van also?
They
yeah,
Or
are.
they
did they?
have it, but I don't think I took a photo of that.
No, but it's also not anywhere near the same scale. Um, and it's
This is
Oh, well, they
obviously
larger.
have
cheaper.
one.
It's there. You have it.
Yeah,
So
I took a picture of
we'll,
it, but it is very small, and it's more of like a
it's like a one-to-one of like the original size-wise,
yeah,
I
and
would
it's also
say.
Yeah,
stylized. It
yeah, it
it
looks
looks
more
like
like
a
a comic.
cartoon. Yeah, like a
Oh, I took
comic.
it the other way.
Yeah, like it looks like it's ripped right from a comic as opposed to just being a piece of plastic. You
Yeah,
Yeah.
know.
I
I mean,
mean,
I
it's
don't know the
tough.
price of it
It's
either way.
Yeah. I think the big challenge with stuff like that is they know who they're making it for. They're making it for the big fans, that are they're gonna invest no matter what, you
Yeah,
know. But the other thing you got to look at too is when you're looking at a lot of the bigger brands when they're going into making these larger scales, even Hasbro, we're talking about them a lot. They do the HasLab, right? And the HasLabs have varying prices, varying sizes, and a big part of that is they have some that are successful, some that are not successful. You had
yeah,
the Ghost Rider, car that was Paul $300-400 or more for
Yeah.
that vehicle, and then you have like third parties, not to promote, but third parties make their own versions at like a fraction of the cost.
Why
But it's
can't we
like
promote?
well, because again, I don't really have a stance on it. I've already said I've bought them for certain things, but again, it
Yeah.
comes down to like Parisi said, what's the factors? Like what's the cost? You know what I mean? Like they're making it at a smaller scale. So you would think it
yeah,
would cost more because they're not making a large volume of it.
Yeah. I
yeah.
just
So
They
found an
had
article that said it was
yeah.
$250 their
For
version.
what?
which is
The
the NECA
NECA
one.
the NECA Turtle Van.
Oh, okay.
So it's still up there.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I mean,
between two and four hundred dollars.
No, of
if you
course, but
market it
again,
as a
I think that NECA one is fitting maybe two turtles. The other one fits six characters. It fits
yeah,
all
Yeah.
four turtles. It can fit April and Splinter. So again, I'm not. It's just when you're thinking about
Right.
the
Well,
scale,
we're
it's
not the
yeah.
audience for
And
it
when
right,
that
either
of
van
way.
is a
course.
rocking, you don't come a knocking. Um,
Sure.
but no, but what I was gonna say is like, these companies that put these out, they're gonna market it as a limited edition collectible. And so adults like us with, some kind of disposable income for these things that we like are gonna jump at the chance to get it. Like I have a friend who's a huge Turtles fan. And I keep showing him all these pictures, and he's like, I don't know where I'm gonna put it all. I don't know what. And I'm the same way with
In the
Transformers.
closet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way with Transformers, and I mean, I just bought a Hot Toys DeLorean for a lot of money, but because Back to the Future is my favorite movie ever made, and I missed out on the original one, and this one looked a lot nicer. And so, I'm sitting here saying, who's going to spend $450 on a plastic turtle van? And yet here I am spending almost double that for,
And it fits no
a
characters,
DeLorean.
right? For the record.
Well,
It does.
it
It does
fits
fit.
two
Oh,
Hot
it
Toys.
does.
It'll
Okay,
fit
so it does fit
two,
1/6 scales. Okay.
whatever Hot Toy
I didn't know if it
scale.
was like a model where like the doors open, but then there's not really.
No,
I know
there's
they
room
make a
to
lot of
fit
that.
them. Yeah,
Okay,
there's room to fit them. But I don't really care about the figures. I just cared about the car.
got it.
But yeah, like the HasLab, like you said, HasLab, they do that. Isn't this thing from Super 7 also going to be some kind of like Kickstarter, or is it they're just making it? Because I know
No,
there
it's
was a
No, I
it's
assume it's going to
crowdfunded.
be some sort of you have to hit the goal in order
like they did
to.
that with the Thundercats lair, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that I
So
think hit it in
that's
like
the
a
new
day.
that's the new thing. Between HasLab, Mattel Creations does it also.
anybody that is in when you're going to make something that's risky, like a financial risk, like you're going to
Yeah.
have something as a shelf warmer at that price, you definitely don't want to do that. So
Well,
they
they
make
Right.
them.
saw
They
the
make them to order, ideally.
they saw the Kickstarter model was working well for a lot of
Yep.
people, and so they're like, oh, we should do that.
Yeah, we make our own platform, so we don't have to pay Kickstarter or
Right.
Indiegogo.
No, right, exactly.
Right.
But
Well,
they had
when
HasLab
Super
had that weird Rancor beast, which they wanted like 400 for it, but it was not anything impressive, and it
yeah,
failed miserably.
with the Super 7 stuff, when they started the Ultimates line, it was more like made to order also.
Yes.
And then I guess all these other stores ordered so many of them, and that's why you see like stock remaining. And then eventually they went back to the well and reissued Ninja Turtles that were previously not being made anymore, and they kind of diluted the brand that they're not like a made to order thing anymore.
Yeah. So it's also
They're
tough
still
too,
awesome
where
looking. Don't
right.
take what I'm saying in the wrong way, but I mean they
Yeah.
kind of ruined the scarcity of the product.
Right. Well, I think it also comes down to you've had a little bit of QC issues with certain licenses when it comes down to like comparing realism and kind of animated versus comic, design. But another factor of that is probably making too much and, like you said, sitting on shelves. But now you have companies that are buying them that didn't even have them before. Like you can go in a Best Buy and you can buy Super
Yeah,
7 Ultimates. You can go in Macy's/Toys R Us and you could
Yeah.
find Super 7s. It's kind of a weird situation because most people that are shopping in those stores are not looking for that stuff. And I don't know if it's going to entice them to spend $50 on a figure, an
Mhm.
right.
assembly that's casual. But
Well, Super 7, they started out, you could only find them in comic book shops.
yeah, and
Like
and
Forbidden
primarily a lot
Planet or
of it in their
something.
own store in California.
Yeah, I mean, it was, only that place I ever remember seeing them was in Forbidden Planet in the city, in
Yeah,
Manhattan. And now, like you said, Best Buy, you see them in Toys R Us, you see them. So, they're definitely, their product line is getting more and more attractive that they're able to, these other big retail shops are picking it up and
yeah,
wanting to sell it.
agreed.
So,
Well, at the end of the day, they're all out there with getting the opportunity to have these great licenses and do whatever they can with it. So, you got making big scale, you got making small scale, but it's cool to see regardless.
yeah,
We saw a lot of other companies and we saw a lot of turtles, I would say, right?
yeah.
Throughout the different vendors and stuff like that that are
I
promoting.
mean, what was it, like 6 or 7 different booths we saw turtles in?
Yeah, which is,
Give or take.
it's a popular brand,
Yeah.
so it makes sense. But Paul, was there a highlight for you with the show?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. It's tough to pinpoint something. Like I said, a lot of the stuff we saw, we've seen already. There wasn't a whole lot of we're seeing it for the first time, and we had appointments throughout the day. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed our walkthrough at Lego, even though it was all stuff that we already knew about and seen, and you got like the inside scoop about behind closed doors and the secret room that
With
requires blood
Avengers
and
Tower.
2,000 pieces.
Avengers
yeah.
Tower.
Well, it definitely didn't have that, right?
Yeah.
And Avengers Tower was somewhere, right? I'm just trying to think now, but I mean, I enjoyed the Super 7 booth. Now that I'm thinking about it, they didn't really have any Simpsons. They had like one or two Simpsons things there, and I think that as a license, that hasn't been successful for them either, which is disappointing to me. But
Well, do you think that that's an issue now, Simpsons licensing, because Disney owns it? Because
it could be,
Disney
but
kind of owns
they
20th
didn't really
Century.
have Transformers there either, and
Yeah,
they
it's
have
true.
the Transformers license also. But we were talking about GI Joe, and I'm not a big fan of GI Joe, but the reaction stuff that they're doing, and all the different types is really cool. As someone that's a casual fan, and they had the ones where like the villains are dressed up as like pedestrians and hiding, and like I'm like that's such a cool niche thing. I
Yeah,
hadn't seen it before, and it's not a thing I follow. But yeah, I enjoyed the NECA, the Super Seven. I would say those areas. The NECA we saw some stuff that I hadn't seen before. Some of the horror stuff. They had
yeah,
the lead from Thanksgiving, who I didn't even know his name yet, but his name is John Carver.
Clever,
So
clever.
yeah,
yeah. That was, I think, my favorite booth too. Is NECA. I mean, NECA every year always has a really good booth because I'm really into a lot of the figures they put out for. I mean, it's kind of like a new-ish line. I mean, it's been out for a couple of years now, but it's their ultimate Universal Classic Monsters. And so this year, I noticed they had a really cool Frankenstein's monster from Bride of Frankenstein, and he was sitting in like a chair, and he was all chained down. It's if you want to pull that up, Benny, it's in the gallery.
Okay, bear with me.
It's like after the Turtles and Killer Clowns, and
I don't see it, but I will look
yeah,
now.
keep scrolling down, you'll see it.
Da-dun-da-dun.
Nope, go down. Keep
Yeah,
going. Keep going. Nope,
that's
nope.
yeah.
Sorry, up, 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 up.
I that's what I thought.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep
yeah.
going. No, keep
Yeah.
going.
There we
Stop.
go.
There you go.
So that's so that's their monster line. I have the original Frankenstein figure in black and white, which I think that's retired now. This is another one they have coming out, but then this is the close up of the Bride of Frankenstein, and it's something that I'll probably get just because I love how they have it set up with the chair that he's in.
Yeah, it's cool.
And this is based on Nosferatu, which is the 1922 silent movie. That's Krampus.
Good old
That was
Krampus.
that was a great detailed figure that they had
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Agreed.
extremely.
The one new thing that I think they spoke about from NECA was that they had gotten that Pee Wee Herman license, the Toon version of it. So that'll be pretty cool.
Oh, for like the Toon, I think it's like the Toon Terrors.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not a terror, but you know.
But I think he's part
Only
of
if he's in a movie theater.
In a corner.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Yeah, too soon, Paul. Too soon.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We'll show him real quick. Here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Make a lick a high, make a hiney ho.
Yeah, and that'll
Don't
be out.
bury.
This will be out this quarter. That Pee Wee. So probably like a
Don't
holiday.
bury
thing.
the lead. If you're burying the lead, pull the picture back up.
Why am I burying the lead?
Pull the picture back up.
Oh my god.
It's what's next to him, right, Paul?
Yeah, who's in the background though?
It's Alf.
John Carver.
Alf is that John Carver? Then?
that's his mascot.
Is back, and he's in Pog form, and he's in action figure form.
And he's got a saxophone.
Does he eat a cat?
You know,
Maybe. You never know.
Paul, do you know that Alf had a real name?
No, I was not really a fan of Alf. I just thought it was funny that they're making an Alf action figure.
He just needed to do that.
His name is Gordon Shumway.
Thank you for that.
We're gonna put a ticker on the bottom with trivia. Yeah. You can add a ticker. You saw that, Benny? On the
Yep, it gets very nauseating after a while.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I know.
Send us money. Send us money.
Patreon.
Yeah, PayPal or Cash App. So I will say my favorite booth was a booth that like I've recently learned about the company. coincidentally about a week before the show, called Trick or Treat, and they make like a lot of horror stuff. They make masks, they make toys, and they had like one of my favorite movies, but then they had some others, a couple of other movies that I really enjoy, like Return of the Living Dead, Tarman, which was really cool. These are some of the pictures I took, but I know they're a little small. I apologize. Not as cool as a certain someone's phone.
Not one and done for sure.
No.
Definitely not.
All right.
Not as
We'll
cool.
allow it.
But let's see.
I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, based on me using a magnifying lens to see them.
All right, great. I'm glad.
I think this is the booth. This is the booth that had that jigsaw doll.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would laugh at you, and the eyes would glow.
There's Guar, which I love.
Yeah.
So
With their balls hanging out.
There he is.
And other things.
Leave Arungus alone. So let's see what else. Come on. Why is it letting me do it? There we go. We'll just have to do it that way. Come on, man. There we go. Terrifier. Paul and I were just talking about it offline. Right under, we got the good old Necronomicon replica.
Is that the same one that came with the?
It looks like it. It looks like it. I mean, limited edition, right? My ass.
Limited.
There's
some more. Art the Clown, and there's the characters from the second movie, right?
Yep.
Sienna and little girl.
Yep. And then you know what that piece on the bottom is from Evil Dead also.
Spine.
Yes, that's one of the daggers from Evil Dead. And then
Sabre, I thought.
Saba. And they called the White Tiger's Hood. We got Toxie, good old Toxie. Really cool. They're actually releasing like a kind of revision of the 90s figure. So it's got like a similar kind of card.
I'm wondering if they're going to get, like, Playmates is going to give them a hard time about that, because you know how, like, Playmates now is all of a sudden giving NECA a hard time about their Ultimate or whatever they want. NECA. Is it NECA or Super 7? Super 7's Ultimates. That are too close to the Playmates versions, and now all of a sudden it's a problem. That's why they had to pull back that Rat King, and they had to redo the design, and now it looks nothing like the Rat King.
Yeah, they had to make him like.
Is that Toxic Avenger mask based on a particular?
It's like a hybrid of the movie and the cartoon, because they have the movie one on display. I didn't take a picture of it, but his movie is more like a brown tone. The green has always been Toxic Crusaders, but I think they gave it that little more realistic look. You know, kind of, because the cartoon's very.
Because that didn't look like the version that I remember from the original movie back in the day.
Yeah, no,
Melvin
it's not.
Or Marvin or whatever his name was.
Melvin, good old Melvin. So, I would say my review for the year is kind of like in the middle. It was great to get together. It was great to kind of see some of the stuff in person. I just, like you guys said, I would have hoped to see some other stuff that we knew about right before. And I think, like we said, a lot of it's being held off for next week. For New York Comic Con.
I don't think there's going to be that much revealed at Comic Con.
Well, I don't mean revealed. I mean a lot of the stuff that we wanted to see, I think they'll have on display.
Yeah, I think companies just want to do it on their own time, right? Like you said, they want to do their own reveals. They don't want it to get buried along with. Yeah, they don't want to get buried to 12 other companies or 15 other companies that are all doing reveals at the same time, and then you don't get the news page for the day.
Agreed.
Yeah. So cool. I mean. And like I agree with you, Benny. It was like a mid-level toy fair this year. I mean, we walked by some booths, and it was literally the same stuff they had on display from the last time we were at the toy fair, in like 2020. Right. And there was nothing revealed, nothing new, nothing kind of really to generate buzz for fourth quarter or even Q1 and on in 2024. And again, it could just be maybe because it was stuff that was behind closed doors, or they didn't have any kind of prototype to show. And so if you were a buyer, they might have just showed you some kind of a render, like when you were sitting in the back or in some kind of office space with, somebody from the company. So those people might have seen other things, but the stuff that was on display, even even like at Funko, you know, I mean, I'm not a huge Funko person, but walking through that booth, a lot of the stuff I saw was things that I've seen in the stores now,
Right.
you know, and nothing was like, oh, this is new, or, you know, like, oh, wow, they have this license now. I didn't really
Yeah.
see any of that. And then I think, I mean, I mentioned it before with NECA, but they were like the only one that kind of had actual stuff, you know, that was
Yeah, even
new.
pending license approvals. So they're
Right. Yeah,
still
exactly.
they're working on stuff, and they're not big
Yeah.
on doing reveals. I think they only do it once or twice a year. So
Yeah. I mean, you know, you said the pending license. It made me think of that time we went to the toy fair and they had the Castlevania
Castlevania figures,
and it
yep,
never came out because of Konami. And I was like, oh, because that was
bastards.
a really nice looking figure.
Right, they
But,
blew it.
you know, but yeah,
Oh
everything
well.
else though, I mean, the only one other booth that I think we all kind of enjoyed was the well, the one with the 3/4 or the quarter size arcade cabinets. Was that
Numbskull
Numbskull? Yeah,
design. Yeah, yeah, it was really
they were
cool to
pretty
talk with
good.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
those
had those.
cabinets are really cool. They're just very overpriced for what you're getting.
Yeah, very overpriced, but extremely cool to have.
Right,
You know, and
right.
it's
If money is no object, these are for you.
and I
Top
mean,
notch.
if you have like a nice shelf to line them up on, you know, they'll all look great there, and you could put that nice Pepsi machine USB hub at the
Right
end of
next
it,
to it.
and could have like
Yeah,
a nice, you know, arcade mini arcade setup for you. But they were
Yep.
very responsive. Paul was playing a Turtles game. I was playing a Galaga cabinet, and they were super responsive. It wasn't like there was any lag or anything like that. So I give them credit for that, you know.
Yeah.
But like
they're
Paul said,
missing the
they're overpriced.
opportunity to have an HDMI out on those, or have a Bluetooth chip inside and an HDMI, so you can play it the way you want on the cabinet, right? And then still, if you wanted to plug it into a TV, at least have the option, you know?
Yeah,
Well, there's another New Wave Toys does those.
yeah.
They build them to be able to be used on TV. So the
I mean,
different
just to give the
alternatives.
option. I mean, you could hide an
Yeah,
HDMI cable somewhere if you open the back door or something, so it still looks arcade
yeah, of
perfect.
course. I'm
And
sure
then
it's
you have the
semi
door
hollow
that can open
anyway.
up or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
they felt pretty sturdy. They're
Yeah, they
pretty, firm. They don't feel cheap.
right.
no, it didn't feel like it, you know, if you were a little rough with it, it was just gonna fall apart.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine sitting there with the joystick and the buttons for very long, outside of maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Big segue because I think that we can have
Yeah,
a
I
whole
know.
different show on that. So
Yeah.
let's not do that. So we will leave
Sorry.
you with that, ladies and gentlemen. We'll
Yeah.
leave you with
And the
thank
closet
you,
and the closing closet.
double closet all the way. We appreciate your
All the
time.
way.
This guy with his green screen closet. You should have had a
Mhm.
green screen closet. But we appreciate everybody's time. We hope you have a great day. And we have more shows lined up. And if you're not familiar already, we have some videos with a little more of the footage of the show. Feel free to take a look at those. But we hope you have a great evening. You guys have anything else you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I want to thank you for having me on. You'll probably never see me on here again. That's why it's one and done.
One and
And
done.
thank you.
We appreciate the opportunity, Mr. One and Done. Legend
One
Pop.
and done. Beautiful. Till all 01.
Good evening, everybody.